Uh, let's see. One more sip before I grade it here. A, B, C, D, F, or S for superior, but this isn't going to get a superior grade. Spoiler alert. Cheers, I'm Brendan with Bourbon on a Budget, here to do a rapid review. I got a bunch of samples, samps, as I like to call them, that TJ has sent up, and he's bringing more in the next week or so. So I need to start going through the 100 or or so little samples that he's sent up to me. In addition, going through all my own whiskey, so my wife doesn't kill me as the shelf expands and expands, and we get less and less room. Decluttering is what I'm calling this. So TJ sent me a sample of like 6, 7 months ago, maybe a year ago when we first started doing this, of Gray's Town American whiskey. This is a spirit that I've only seen at Total Wine. I'm not sure if it's a Total Wine exclusive, but if you type in Gray's Town American whiskey, it's seen the first thing that pops up is Total Wine. So it does seem like it's sold pretty much there. It's a sourced whiskey, 90% proof, or excuse me, 90 proof, 45% ABV. It is a blend of rye whiskey, and it's finished in a port wine barrel. Now, I'm not sure why it's called an American whiskey if they're blending it with like other types of whiskeys. The label is, I'm looking at it on the computer right now. It's relatively vague. This is called they advertise this as being a standout in any classic cocktail. Doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence that it's going to be amazing. It's $32.99 per bottle, and yeah, the fact that they're advertising this as being something that stands up in cocktails doesn't give a whole lot of confidence. Also, not giving me confidence is what I'm learning is the TJ meter of value or quality for a sample. For example, let's make sure you guys can see me here. This is Michter's Toasted Barrel Bourbon, one of his favorites. He gave me a sample about halfway. It's an ounce. Like, I'm not, I get it. You send an ounce, you send an ounce. That's what you should send for something that's really great. You don't necessarily need to fill it up all the way to the brim to get a sample of what it actually tastes like and enjoy it. You'll get a full nosing and flavor experience from the 1 ounce. That's fine. Thomas Handy Sazerac. Again, a little bit more than half an ounce. I promise I'm not being an ass here. I just need to show you guys something. This is Knob Creek single barrel. Not all the way full, but a really heavy, uh, solid pour by TJ. Thank you, TJ. I like Knob Creek store picks, 19 or 120 proof. It's going to be pretty good. Um, Finally, oh, that's a single barrel rye. That's not even a Knob Creek barrel proof. 115 proof rye. Woohoo, that's going to be good. Here is the Greytown. Look how full it is. He could not fill it up anymore. Like, literally, there's no more room here for the Greytown whiskey. Like, I'm trying not to spill it on myself as I open it up. Yeah, it's popping out the top. That's what she said. So I think what I've learned already is that TJ hates this and was trying to get rid of it. So I am a fan of finished whiskeys, especially with Scotch. But I found with bourbon and rye, you can do some really cool stuff too. I'm doing my own bourbon cask finishing experiment right now. We're gonna see how that works. So a rye whiskey with port, in theory, to me makes sense. You get the spice, but you'll also get a little bit of a softened up note with the port wine as well. So you get the nice dessertiness with spice. I believe at least some of this is distilled in Indiana based on some online research. Again, not super clear though. It does initially smell like the MGP rye with just a lot of the spearmint and spiciness. So the port wine adds like a nutty vibe to it, which isn't always typical for port wine. You would think more with the fruits. Yeah, you think more either cherry or some other types of stone fruits like plums. A little peppery, almost kind of like a salty brine as well. Yeah, this is weird. This is non-discreet. It's not as much flavor jumping out as I would think. There's some stuff going on here. Just all kind of muted. It feels like the port wine and the rye, instead of interacting with each other and getting a few really like unique notes, are kind of battling each other, just coming off as this dull, like underlying mintiness with a little bit of fruit in there as well. So It's okay nose, nothing spectacular, nothing earth shattering, not offensive by any means either. This isn't bad. I'm not thinking this is disgusting. Let's go in for the taste. Actually, the finish is nice. So the finish has a nice little creaminess. The initial thought of the palate is it's muted, underwhelming. Um, yeah, I like the finish. You get the port wine. You know, a lot of time with like single malts, if you put it in a port wine finish, it kind of creates this chocolatey note throughout, and I get that at the end. I get like a milk chocolate for sure. It's very pronounced with a nice creamy mouth feel.
As exquisite mouthfeel.
It's decent. This is above a cocktail mixer to me. This isn't just something you want to throw away. Maybe TJ didn't hate this. Maybe he just sent me a big sample because he was being generous, and now I'm a dick. It's possible. Yeah, but the nose is just really shiny and kind of astringent. It's not opening up into something that I'm enjoying. Just very muted, the flavor profile. It finishes nicely. It's got a nice smooth end to it. Doesn't kick you a ton. It's not weak though. It's not a non-existent finish. Again, there's a nice chocolate note, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of barrel spice, some of the rye showing up there. You know, this reminds me a lot of, I guess a port wine finish can do different things to different types of whiskeys. It does remind me a lot of Angel's Envy, which is a bourbon finish in port wine, to where the port wine almost kind of acts as I'm trying to think of the right word, like a de-accelerant, like it mutes. It numbs down a lot of the flavor that you would hope to get. It's not coming out super fruity. It's not giving you those sweet bourbon vibes. In this case, it's not giving you the rye spice a ton, just a little bit there, a little bit of mint, but it's all just kind of mellow. Maybe that's a proof deal too, the fact that it's 90 proof, but I've tasted 90 proofers that have more oomph and more substance to them in this. So overall, this is okay. It's very average. I think there's far worse bourbon out there at $32.99. I think you can find far better values though as well. Like this isn't swill. This isn't awful. It's not good. Uh, let's see. One more sip before I grade it here. A, B, C, D, F, or S for superior, but this isn't going to get a superior grade. Spoiler alert. But as air has kind of hit it a little bit, the mint and the brininess of the rye is showing through a little bit. That's classic MGP stuff. I'd rather give me like Bullet Rye, which is MGP stuff, I believe, and then or High West Double Rye, which has their own rye and MGP stuff. Just give me that classic super spearminty rye if we're gonna do it. This muted with the port wine, it's not working for me. Below average, C minus for me is my grade. TJ, thank you for the beautiful full sample here. I really appreciate it. Kiss to you. That's weird. I made it weird. All right, for bourbon on a budget, I'm Brendan. This has been a review of Gray's Town whiskey, rye finished in port barrel. Not a huge fan of this collaboration or combination. Sorry, folks. C minus, below average. Save your money. I guess the D would be unfair. Yeah, C minus is where we're going. We're landing at slightly below average. This has been the Gray's Town review. I'm Brendan with Bourbon on a Budget. Thanks for watching. TJ, thanks for the samps. I got some other ones to go through, but probably not tonight.